I had been dating the cold, domineering CEO, Marcus, for 3 months. Then, at our engagement party, he abruptly announced his marriage alliance with socialite heiress Emma. He looked at me with a sneer. Ava, what kind of psychologist falls in love with her patient? You clearly only wanted my money, thinking your looks would help you marry into wealth. Emma even spilled red wine on my white dress and whispered mockingly in my ear, "You? Marry? That's just delusional thinking." Disheartened, I turned and left. Later, I heard that the CEO of Vance had worsened, unable to sleep for an entire month. He called me, his voice hoarse, begging me to come back. During the 3 months Marcus and I were together, he always fell asleep in my arms. He used to murmur in my ear, "Ava, do you have some kind of magic about you? Why is it only when I'm with you that I feel so peaceful? I truly can't live without you." Even his assistant, David, remarked in front of me, "It's been so long since I've seen the CEO sleep so soundly." Dr. Reynolds, no, Mrs. Vance, the CEO's wife, from now on, Mr. Vance's health will be in your hands. Of course, I was more than willing. I turned down my hospital work to stay by his side, developing a personalized health management plan for him. My hope was that his psychological trauma would heal, allowing him to live a normal life. None of this was for money, of course. It was because I loved him. But the sign at the hotel entrance clearly stated that tonight was the engagement party for the marriage alliance between the Vance and Miller families. In other words, my boyfriend was marrying another woman. And I had only just found out. David looked a bit awkward when he saw me. "Dr. Reynolds, I actually tried to convince Mr. Vance to be clear with you, not to toy with your feelings, but he wouldn't listen." He shrugged. "You know, he's not in the best mental state. A bit off in the head, you could say." I still loved him deeply, but hearing someone speak of him that way, I was momentarily at a loss for words. "Maybe you should just go back? If Vance asks, I'll say you were delayed by something else. It's just an engagement party. It's not like his official girlfriend has to be here." I sneered inwardly. "David, since you yourself said I'm his official girlfriend, there's no reason for me to hide. I'd like to see just how spectacular this engagement party will be." The gown Marcus had chosen for me was excessively flamboyant, drawing many scornful looks from the crowd. Where did this nouveau riche come from, dressed like that at someone else's alliance party? Anyone would think she was Mr. Vance's fiancée. I recognize her. She's Mr. Vance's personal health assistant. Let me tell you, these women in service jobs, they all dream of becoming a socialite wife, just because they get close to rich people. Like that one from Hong, and that one from Macau. She must have lost her mind, daring to cause a scene at the real fiancé's engagement party. She doesn't even know her place. She's not even worth a single strand of hair from the Miller family's second daughter. I couldn't stand listening to them. I walked right up to them and boldly told them, "You're mistaken. Actually, I'm Marcus's girlfriend, and I didn't invite myself to this party. Marcus invited me. As for why I'm dressed so elaborately, I pointed to the man on stage who was putting a ring on his fiancé's finger. He's the one who prepared this gown for me. If you have a problem, you can ask him." Everything I said was true. With people bullying me to my face, I certainly wasn't going to just swallow the insult and go home to cry in secret. A ripple of shock went through the crowd. These wealthy wives and young ladies, useless at everything else but champion gossip mongers, immediately caused such a commotion that Marcus couldn't even put the ring on. He jumped off the stage. "Ava, don't you dare forget your place. Your job is a psycholo. Just. I hired you at a high salary to be my personal health assistant and to treat my condition. But you're relying on your looks, trying to marry into wealth, without even basic professional ethics. I invited you to the engagement party and prepared your gown because I hoped you'd do what you're supposed to, not meddle in my marriage alliance with Emma. Being the other woman is disavowal." I told you his mind was messed up. His expressions changed faster than turning a page. I pulled out our old text messages. Just searching for "be my girlfriend" brought up hundreds of entries. I shoved my phone in front of Emma and the others. "Look closely, who's really the other woman?" The onlookers gasped, covering their mouths as they started to whisper. Honestly, I never thought Marcus would deceive me like this. The change was so sudden, I was completely stunned. "Marcus, I never once thought about deceiving you for your money. You were always the one holding my hand, asking me to stay with you. You said you'd feel uneasy if you didn't see me for a single day, and that you wanted to be with me forever. Just 3 nights ago, you knelt before me and asked me to marry you. You told me to say yes first, promising that an engagement party and rings would follow. And what happened? You're here getting engaged to another woman." People scrutinized Marcus with judgmental eyes. Even in elite circles, his sudden change of heart was legendary. Emma, who had been standing at the back of the crowd, came over with a wine glass. She tried to slap me, but I swiftly blocked her. The red wine in her hand spilled onto my white dress, leaving a glaring crimson stain. Ms. Reynolds, as you said, that was 3 days ago. The marriage alliance between our two families was finalized the day before yesterday, the engagement party was prepared yesterday, and today, I am Marcus's fiancée. You? Marry into the Vance family and become a socialite wife? That's just delusional thinking. And look at yourself, are you even worthy? Before I came in, David revealed that Marcus had agreed to the marriage alliance so quickly because when he met Emma, Mr. Vance found she looked very much like the one that got away, so, damn that stand-in trope. To toy with people's hearts like that, shattering deep affection into fragments. I forced back the ache in my heart. Since you're getting engaged, I won't force something that's not meant to be. But, you owe me an explanation. The man before me had a cold, guarded look in his eyes. He was completely different from the sweet, clingy person he used to be. With the air of someone in a superior position, he haughtily assessed me. Ava, isn't it money you want? Just name your price, and I can satisfy you. If he hadn't mentioned money, I would have forgotten that for all these days I spent by his side, trying every method for his physical and mental well-being. I was so exhausted I was almost insomniac myself. Yet, I had never once brought up the topic of money with him. I thought money was the least important thing in our relationship. 2 million, the man stated effortlessly. That's too little. I'll add another 3 million, for a total of 5 million. If Reynolds thinks that's not enough, I can still add more. Emma, arm in arm with Marcus, smiled faintly at me. They were all waiting for my reply. If I accepted the money, I would solidify my reputation for attaching myself to the rich and become the laughingstock of everyone present. But that was secondary. Trying to get money from these wealthy people was like playing with fire. I'd end up with no money and a charge of extortion, and that was a risk I wasn't willing to take. More importantly, money was never what I wanted. Marcus, I gave my heart to the wrong person. But I never wanted your money, and I don't want to make things difficult for you either. All I want is for you to film an apology video in front of everyone, admitting that you deceived me, telling them that I was your official girlfriend, and that Emma was the other woman who appeared later. How could you? Ms. Miller gasped, looking at me as if she wanted to devour me. As you all saw, many wealthy gossip mongers filmed this incident today and uploaded it online. This has caused immense damage to my reputation. So, I'll also post your apology video on all my social media platforms. That way, people won't misunderstand my character. Marcus, infuriated, grabbed my arm and pulled me into an empty room, shutting the door. Ava, don't push your luck. He looked into my eyes, paused, and for a fleeting moment, seemed to show remorse. Alright, what happened before was my fault. But I would never marry a woman without a prominent family background, nor would I ever fall in love with a psychologist. I can compensate you for your losses, but for me to apologize publicly? That would damage Ms. Miller's reputation, and that's impossible. This wasn't okay, and that wasn't okay either. So he could just toy with my feelings as he pleased. I raised my phone, imitating their nonchalant attitude. Mr. Vance, even if you don't apologize, I still have a way to clear my name. During the time you were my boyfriend, my phone nearly filled up with our text messages. All I have to do is take a few screenshots and post them online, and my reputation will be cleared. Still, writing an online rant wouldn't be as effective as a direct clarification from him. I wasn't after money or love. I just wanted to get this anger off my chest. Mr. Vance laughed in exasperation. Dr. Reynolds, I initially thought that even if we weren't a couple, I could still hire you as my psychotherapist. But you're being so unreasonable, you're going to lose out on a great earning opportunity. I didn't back down. I'll post all those sensational messages you sent me online right now, and you can just wait for Vance's shares to plummet. Just as Marcus was about to concede, the room door was torn open from the outside. Emma appeared at the doorway, accompanied by my doctoral advisor, Professor. Ms. Reynolds, I just said that with a snap of my fingers, I could have you blacklisted in the entire industry. Professor was my advisor for my in-service doctorate. We usually only met on campus, so why was he here, and why was he scolding me without even knowing the full story? Ava, I never imagined your character was so poor, that you'd disrupt Ms. Miller's and Mr. Vance's engagement party for money. A student with such moral failings as you isn't suitable to remain in our research group. You also won't be attending next month's international conference. As long as I don't endorse you, it's as good as being expelled from academia. I remembered that Professor's research team had a hidden sponsor who invested a significant amount of funding into his research every year. The head of that company was named Sue. It seemed he was Emma's father. This professor, over 60 and highly influential in academia, was bowing and scraping to Emma, a fawning smile on his face. What right did I have to stand against them? Ms. Reynolds, what are you spacing out for? Let me remind you again, your senior, Ethan, also went from being a brilliant medical student to a nobody because he offended my sister, Tiffany. Can you even find out what he's doing now? Do you want to end up like him? I had heard about Ethan's situation. Because of his handsome looks and six-pack abs, a wealthy socialite had taken an interest in him, wanting to keep him as her toy boy. But he was a man of integrity, whose character couldn't be corrupted by wealth, which was why he couldn't graduate after 5 years of doctoral studies. Such cruel wealthy people. I looked at Marcus and sighed briefly. Mr. Vance, do you really need to use so many tactics to deal with me? I don't believe I've ever done anything to harm you, yet you resent me so much that you'd go to such lengths, hiring so many people to humiliate me and make me a laughingstock. In that case, I won't fight anymore. From now on, I won't bother you again, and there will be no further interactions between us. Please take care of yourself. Marcus stood there with his mouth open, looking at me, as if he had much to say but couldn't utter a sound. Ignoring all the mocking whispers, I quietly left, walked out of the hotel, and sent a message to Ethan. Ethan, I'm willing to join your research project. Let's develop an AI psychological counseling online platform together. Marcus returned to his 8,000 square foot luxury villa, suddenly feeling hollow. Only was tidying up the house for him. He tried his best not to dwell on the days he spent with Ava. But he couldn't sleep at night, tossing and turning, which plunged him into immense panic. Because before he found Dr. Reynolds to treat him, he had suffered from severe insomnia for years, and on several occasions, he had wanted to end his tormented life. David had found him many renowned psychologists, but he was always very resistant, refusing to talk to them and not letting anyone touch him. Ava was the exception. She seemed to possess a powerful magic that drew him in, and he always slept soundly when he was with her. Not like this sleepless night. At 3 a.m, he called David. Where is Ava? Why isn't she here yet? The person on the other end, full of resentment, replied, Mr. Vance, you should get treated early for your illness. Dr. Reynolds has already left. She's not coming back. Marcus seemed to be sinking into a terrible nightmare. After a long silence, he said softly, David, you also think I went too far, don't you? The reply came quickly. Yes, absolutely. There's no bigger scumbag than you, Mr. Vance. If I were Dr. Reynolds, I would have given you a good beating, then withdrawn all special care for you, and made sure you could never find me again. Dr. Reynolds is just too kind. She didn't even it you. The man's low sobs echoed in the empty room. I truly never meant to hurt her, but I was so afraid of losing control. I thought I could control myself perfectly, just using her psychological therapy skills to keep her by my side, and that I would never develop feelings. But when I suddenly knelt before her and proposed, I realized I had lost control. I couldn't accept losing control. David yawned on the other end of the line. Understood, Mr. Vance. Everything is perfectly under your control. May I go to sleep now? Just before the call ended, wait, where's the calming incense in my room? The sleep-inducing incense Ava specially formulated for me, where did it go? Oh, that, David paused. I saw how you humiliated Ms. Reynolds, and figured you wouldn't need that useless incense, so when I packed her things, I had her take it with her. But Reynolds didn't want it either. I saw her throw it into a trash can on the street after she left the villa. It's so late. You're not actually going to go through the trash, are you? Marcus's heart suddenly pounded. He forced himself to try and sleep, but couldn't. He suffered like this for a whole week. The CEO lost 10 pounds, his facial features becoming sharper and more unapproachable. He thought, just this once, he could humble himself. David, contact Ms. Reynolds. Tell her that my engagement to Emma won't affect our employment relationship. Even though we're no longer boyfriend and girlfriend, I can still hire her at a high salary to be my personal assistant. I'll even overlook her causing a scene at the engagement party. David replied, CEO, are you not sleeping enough, or are you still half asleep? Ms. Reynolds blocked all of us a long time ago. Ethan and I were working on a closed-door research project. It was scheduled for 1 month. It progressed very smoothly. The new AI psychological counseling platform launched, attracting a large influx of users from the start, far exceeding our and the investors' expectations. Ethan was no longer the same. He had become a new partner at this tech company, with an annual salary exceeding 10 million. As for me, I had already accumulated substantial savings from 2 years of work, thanks to my excellent treatment skills, so I wasn't short on money at all. That's why, at the time, I had single-mindedly pursued love, turning down Ethan's promising project multiple times for the obsessive Mr. Vance. Thankfully, I woke up in time. I'm truly grateful to Marcus for the blessing in disguise. I wished him and Emma to be stuck with each other forever. But as Ethan and I stepped out of the elevator in the hotel lobby, we saw Marcus there, having coffee with a client. The moment he saw me, the cup in his hand fell, spilling its contents all over the floor. His custom-made suit was stained, alerting the hotel staff, who rushed over to ask if he needed help. But he seemed not to hear anyone. He strode purposefully towards me, grabbing my wrist. "Ava, have you been staying in a hotel room with this man all these days?" The hotel lobby was full of guests, and they all looked over, their gazes filled with the same humiliation I felt when I crashed his engagement party with Emma. I pulled my hand away, and Ethan immediately stepped in front of me. "Mr. Vance, who I'm with, where I am, or what I'm doing, is none of your business. Please don't meddle." "Meddle?" Marcus smiled coldly. "Do you know how worried I've been about you all these days?" He would worry about me? I was worried you wouldn't find work, wouldn't earn money, and would starve to death. Well, that's a bit much. See, my worries weren't unfounded, were they? Besides me hiring you at a high salary, who else would give you a job opportunity? He glanced at the name tag hanging around Ethan's neck. Isn't he that penniless senior of yours who got blacklisted from the entire industry? Are you two just huddling together for warmth? I tugged on Ethan's sleeve and laked towards the international conference being held in the hotel's conference hall. Marcus, however, persisted. "Ava, I can actually give you another chance. You just need to be willing to come back, do your job, and stop fantasizing about a relationship with me." My temper flared. I suddenly stopped, stared at him, and took a deep breath. "Mr. Vance, don't you think you're being ridiculous?" I took a step closer to him. "Why can't you admit your feelings for me? Are you scared?" He couldn't meet my gaze, but his fingers trembled. "No, impossible. I've never loved you. Ava, I've always just used you. But I'm willing to pay." He was truly incorrigible. He thought money could solve everything, yet despite all his wealth, he couldn't control his own heart. "Then why, for the past month, have you been waiting outside my house every night? And why do you cry looking at my photos on your phone? You miss me that much, and you still won't admit it?" Mr. Vance's facade shattered. He countered, "How do you know that? You blocked me and David, and made it impossible for any of us to find you. Although I was working on a closed-door research project, cut off from the outside world, I had a dog at home, and I would video call it every day. Every night, there was an extra person at the door, and my dog would get very agitated. I had put up with him for too long. You clearly love me, so why do you do so many things that hurt both others and yourself? You're nothing but a coward." "No." Marcus covered his ears, his eyes turning bloodshot, his whole body trembling like fragile glass. "Ava, you're no different from my mother's psychologist. After finishing her therapy sessions, she went home and jumped from upstairs. So, there's no way I could love you." Ethan's expression drastically changed after hearing Marcus's words. "Was your mother named Eleanor? Did she have her last psychological therapy session in July, 3 years ago?" Marcus, still caught in his emotions, "No." Deaded mechanically. Ethan walked over and put a hand on his shoulder. "Mr. Vance, do you truly not know how your mother died?" He looked up, surprised, his eyes filled with inquiry. Just then, Emma arrived, accompanied by another woman of similar demeanor. If I wasn't mistaken, it was her sister, Tiffany, the socialite heiress from the Sioux family who had once tried to patronize Ethan. Professor emerged from the conference hall and shook hands with the two socialite heiresses, only to be immediately berated by them. "What's going on? Is this conference open to just anyone? Ava, isn't she your student? Why is she even allowed to attend?" This past month, Professor had removed me from his research team, stolen my research findings, and then brazenly come here to participate in an international conference. This was Emma's revenge against me. Just like what Tiffany had done to Ethan years ago. You didn't know Marcus was here and thought you still had a chance, so you rushed over to flirt with him, did you? What are you talking about? Ethan held up his invitation. Look closely, Ava is a core member of our team. She's attending this conference with me. Please move aside and don't block the way. Tiffany snatched the invitation, staring incredulously at the words printed on it. Jiwa Tech, General? You? How is that possible? Professor, What exactly is going on here? Professor confidently assured them it was an insignificant little company, not worth mentioning. He claimed that once they explained their respective models, the difference would be obvious. Ms. Tiffany, they'll soon know their place and be ejected by the conference organizers. The conference began, and our results were presented first. The development concept and initial data performance of the AI psychological counseling platform were excellent, attracting attention from numerous investors and partners and receiving unanimous praise. Professor's team went on stage, and right after they finished their presentation, I pointed out severe data flaws. They had stolen my research findings, but I was prepared. I had mixed hidden dirty data into their dataset, turning their presentation into an industry joke. Now everyone knew Professor was a total fraud and had also plagiarized other people's academic work. He was definitively blacklisted from the entire industry. He appealed to his sponsors, the Miller sisters. Tiffany, without bothering to understand, declared, "Please escort the Jiwa Tech people out. My family, the Millers, sponsored this conference, so what I say goes." Ethan walked onto the stage and confronted Ms. Tiffany. "Tiffany, Vance is the main sponsor of this conference. Do you want me to reveal that scandal from years ago involving the Vance family right here, in front of all these guests?" Ms. Tiffany, who had been gloating moments before, instantly changed her expression. She pointed at Ethan. "What are you? Nothing but a dog I discarded. Who would believe anything you say?" She hurled many vile insults. Ethan, however, remained calm. "Ms. Tiffany, don't get it twisted. You were the one who tried to buy me off with money, but I firmly refused. That's why you got furious and had that old man Thompson kick me out of school, making it impossible for me to find any work. But, the reason you tried to completely destroy me was because I knew your secret, wasn't it?" Tiffany tried to rush forward and hit Ethan, but she was held back. She shrieked wildly, "Don't say it. I forbid you to say it. Ethan, aren't you afraid I'll use other means to deal with you? I'll make your life a living hell." Ethan playfully shrank his neck, pretending to be scared. "Oh, how terrifying." Marcus, who had been silently contemplating, spoke with a firm voice. "Don't be afraid of her. Say everything you know." Ethan glanced at the many people attending the conference around them. "Since it's private family matters concerning the Vance family, perhaps we should find a more private place." Mr. Vance coldly ordered David, "Stop the conference immediately and reschedule it." The conference hall was instantly cleared. People stood guard outside, ensuring no one could enter. "Now you can speak, can't you?" No matter how furious Tiffany became, David held her back, forcing her to listen to Ethan's words. "Mr. Vance, your mother's psychologist back then was me. I treated her 5 or 6 times, and the results were very good. In fact, her core issue revolved around your father. He was having an affair and completely disregarded his marital bond with your mother. During her last session, she talked a lot to me. The other woman went too far. She repeatedly showed up to provoke your mother and even sent your mother photos of her and your father in bed. That's why your mother became so disheartened and lost her will to live." Marcus looked at him skeptically. "So she couldn't get over it psychologically, which is why she came to you for treatment. But what did you do?" Ethan pursed his lips. "I did everything a psychologist should do. But as soon as she left my office, she encountered the other woman, who had come looking for her. That woman," he said, pointing at Tiffany, "is Ms. Tiffany." Tiffany and Emma both exploded in anger. Ethan continued, "In recent years, I investigated the Miller family. Their family originally built their wealth through deals involving money and favors. They used their connection to your father to secure many orders from Vance, which allowed them to gain a foothold in Northwood City. Evan's marriage alliance with you was premeditated. She had plastic surgery to look like your first love, then went on a blind date with you, all to marry into your Vance family and become the wife of Northwood City's wealthiest man. But they were exploiting your family, even to the point of driving your mother to her death. Although had immense psychological trauma, he was a business prodigy. 2 years ago, after Hi's father's death, he fully took over the company and boosted the entire corporation's performance by dozens of times, making an already wealthy family even more powerful. With just a little thought, he knew everything Ethan said was true. He immediately issued an order to withdraw all collaborations with the Miller family. With the Vance family setting the trend, the Miller family's company quickly lost all partners and went bankrupt. He looked at me with an apologetic gaze. "I'm sorry, Ava, I got the wrong person for my revenge." That night, I returned to my doorstep. I saw the man sitting in front of my door again, like a homeless wanderer. Many nights, I had seen him on my phone surveillance. Each time, recalling the hurt he had caused me, any lingering affection would vanish. I ignored his presence and simply unlocked my door. The man stood up beside me. He was tall, and during the months we were together, he had finally gained some color and looked healthier. But now, he was painfully thin, his features sharply defined. Still handsome, though. "Mr. Vance, please stop bothering me. If I ever see you at my doorstep again, I'll call security to have you escorted away." He gently grasped my arm, his voice hoarse. "Ava, there are some things I need to make clear to you." I didn't want to listen, but he insisted. "I don't have anyone that got away. Emma and the others got it wrong. The only woman I've ever loved is you." "And then?" He paused, his Adam's apple subtly bobbing. "Will you come back to me? Without you by my side, I can't sleep at night, I can't eat. I'm really falling apart." I believed he was telling the truth. But some feelings, once gone, can never be retrieved. "What exactly do you want, Mr. Vance?" Marcus looked at me, deeply hurt. "I can give you money, just like I said on the phone before. No matter how high a salary anyone else offers you, I can match any offer. Even now, do you still think I was with you for your money?" Angrily, I opened the door, stepped inside, and locked him out. The iron door separated us. The man's voice drifted in from outside. "No, Ava, you've misunderstood. I know that for you, sincerity is what matters most. But my heart is right here, for you. Will you accept it?" He lost his confidence, his voice growing hoarser. "I almost wish you were with me for my money. That way, I could keep you by my side." The next morning, I was woken by David's phone call. "Dr. Reynolds, what did you two talk about last night? He didn't sleep a wink again, and he's driving me crazy because I can't sleep either." I felt sympathetic to his plight. It's bad enough he tortures me at night, but at 5 in the morning, he sent an order to hold a press conference at 9 today, telling me to invite every single reporter from Northwood City. Based on my experience, I'm guessing this has something to do with you. Because this guy only goes crazy when it concerns you. I rushed to the press conference. And ran right into Ethan. We both asked at the same time, "What are you doing here?" Ethan had been invited by Marcus. As for me, I was afraid I'd get too famous, so I came to see what kind of scheme he was up to. Sure enough, during the last segment of the press conference, Marcus suddenly pulled me onto the stage and apologized to me under the glare of countless cameras and flashes. "Just now, I have already made it clear about the cooperation with the Miller family. Now, what I, Marcus, want to clarify is that on the day of the engagement, I was wrong. I had an official girlfriend, yet I chose to get engaged to another woman, causing her to bear a bad reputation. For this, I sincerely apologize. It was due to my own psychological trauma that I did many things to hurt her. Now, I want to win back her love. I will transfer 20% of my shares in Vance to Ms. Reynolds, free of charge, to compensate her for the harm I've caused." Everyone was stunned. Vance, 20% of its shares. I was worried. Why 2 days to calculate the exact amount? Even, who was usually so well informed, widened his eyes, his mouth agape in surprise, unable to speak. Marcus waited for my answer, filled with anticipation. Under everyone's gaze, I took Ethan's hand. "I'm sorry, Mr. Vance, but we're getting married." Reporters clamored to ask Marcus questions. "So, Mr. Vance, you're the one interfering in someone else's relationship, the other man, is that right? Do you rich people all think money can buy everything? That as long as you're willing to throw enough cash around, you can steal someone else's wife? Mr. Vance, do you treat other women this way too?" Ethan and I pushed our way through the crowd. Outside, David called out to me. "Can't you really give him another chance? Honestly, I was disgusted by how he treated you before, but he knows he blamed the wrong person. He needs you desperately. You're the only one who can get close to him, he relies solely on you. I've always hoped you'd become Mrs. Vance, the CEO's wife of Vance." I handed David an invitation. Everyone has to pay for their own actions. No one stands still and waits. You're welcome to attend my wedding. On the day of the wedding, Marcus also came. He sat discreetly in a corner, careful not to draw too much attention. In an unintentional glance, I noticed he looked very unwell. Just as Ethan and I exchanged rings and the ceremony concluded, he coughed up blood and fainted. As doctors, Ethan and I both rushed to provide emergency aid. After he woke up and we took him to his hotel room to rest, Marcus stopped me. "Ava, I know your marriage with him is a contract. You can't hide it from me. He's Northwood City's richest man. If he wants to investigate something, he'll naturally find it. I never intended to hide it from him, but I also didn't feel the need to explain it to him. Ethan and I were both experiencing pressure from family for marriage, with our parents constantly pressuring and causing a fuss. His 98-year-old grandfather was also hospitalized, and his greatest wish was to see his grandson, who was already successful in his career, get married. To better focus our energy on our careers, we entered into a contractual marriage. If you think this is to shake off my persistence, then you're mistaken. Marcus had David bring over an agreement. I won't mind your superficial relationship with this man. Even if you were truly married to him, I wouldn't give up pursuing you. You? Ava, but I won't force you. Now, I just want you to take me on as a patient. Before, my biggest fear was losing control, getting too caught up in emotions for others, becoming too dependent. But now, I willingly entrust everything to you. I'm completely open with you. Even if you were to use my psychological data and information for your experiments, I would accept it. A patient case like his certainly holds great appeal for research. But, Mr. Vance, I won't develop feelings for you again. Don't hold on to any hope. He finally offered a long-awaited smile. Don't worry, Dr. Reynolds, I've invested in Joyful and am one of your company's major shareholders. If you make breakthroughs in your research, I'll also benefit. I signed the cooperation agreement with him. At the very bottom, I added a clause, business only, no personal feelings. Thank you for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. See you next time.